On the 23rd episode of the Reframe podcast, James Dodkins joins us from UK. James is UK's #1 customer experience influencer. He was a real-time rock star, playing in heavy metal bands, touring around the world, and he even released an album. He then turned to training and used his background to create a truly unique experience of musical keynotes around customer experience. James travels the world coaching organizations how to get the customer experience formula right. In today's episode, we're going to get up close with his journey and figure out how the whole change happened and how is he changing the training industry. If you get value out of the show, please share it in your network, and we'd also love a rating and a like on the iTunes or any other platform that you're listening this to. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel and click on the notification bell so you're aware of the new episodes as they come out. Let's get into the 23rd episode of the Reframe podcast with James Dodkins. How about we start off with the transition that happened from a musician to a trainer? How and when and what were the challenges that you faced as you were transitioning?
Well, to be fair, it wasn't an immediate transition from a music professional to a trainer. What happened was, when I left the music world, I went and worked for an insurance company, and I was selling insurance on the phone to start with. So I was calling up people, being like, "Hey, do you want to buy this insurance?" Realised very quickly that isn't what I wanted to do for the rest of my life, and so set myself a bit of a plan to progress throughout the company. I'd do crazy things like, so my shift in the day was from midday to 8 at night. So I'd come in at 8 in the morning, shadow people around the business, to learn from them, to understand what they were doing differently, to understand how they were approaching the work that they did, to make sure that when I did get an opportunity, when a job, came up, I could move into it, even though I didn't technically have the experience. And I was really lucky with it, man, because the company I worked for, a company called HomeServe in the UK, is still one of the fastest growing insurance companies in UK history. It grew really, really fast. So I got loads of opportunities to sort of climb up the ladder really early on. For me, the biggest transition, the most difficult thing for me, was being told what to do. You got to think, man. I released my first album when I was 17, and I'd been touring the world ever since. So, and that's not to say that there weren't people that told me what to do, but it's a little bit different to working in an insurance company. So that was the biggest adjustment.
Sorry to cut you. Was it the corporate culture, or did you have a problem with authority?
Bit of both, really. I do have a problem with authority. I'm not a big fan of it. I think that's probably just the inner anarchist in me, the rock star within. But the thing is, my company's culture, looking back, was actually really quite cool. But yeah, I'm not particularly good at being told what to do. So that's without explanation. I need to know why. Why are you asking me to do this? What am I going to achieve from it? Which is, again, a manager doesn't really like that. James, go and do this. Why? Why am I doing this? It's So I don't work very well in the corporate world, to be honest with you.
Right, but you are dealing with a lot of corporates now in your current role.
Yeah, but I'm not employed by them, and they don't really tell me what to do. So
yeah. So yes, but at the same time, when you are, let's say, when you're meeting somebody senior in a corporate and pitching your business to them, a lot of times I've seen that businesses do not realize why is it important to have such high level of customer experience. Why is customer experience probably the best and the most important thing that they can invest in? So a lot of times people would then ask you, why should I focus on what you are telling me to do, rather than something hardware or something technology or something else like that.
Yeah.
How's that? Now you're on the other side. Now people are asking you.
Yeah. The thing is, there's millions of statistics out there that that show that focusing on improving customer experience and focusing on delivering a superior customer experience is a smart thing to do in the business world. There's tons of statistics. So you can throw statistics at them. But to be honest, they tend not to care about that stuff because it's not about them. They're like, yeah, but that's other companies. It's more about trying to make them walk in the shoes of their customers and think, look, if you were your company's customer, are you likely to want to do business with you again? And this is super hypocritical of me now. I didn't realize until just now, I tend not to work with people who don't already understand the value of customer experience. And the thing I tend to say is that if by this point in your career, you haven't figured out for yourself that focusing on customer experience is a good idea, what can I do to help you, really? With all those statistics out there, with all of those success stories out in the world, if you still don't think that focusing on customer experience is a good idea, I can't help you. But it's lucky. It means that I get to work with companies that already focus on customer experience, but want to take it to that next level.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And in my experience, I've seen that most of the companies would bang their heads across the wall and try to do whatever they can to build a better product, to build, have the latest technologies. But what they still don't figure out is that the reason that customers are not preferring them is because of the experience, the whole experience. And I think you would agree, and I'm sure you would have managed a lot of these scenarios as well, where the experience is basically, it's not. There's another misconception actually that companies believe, in my opinion, that customer experience comes with their after-sales service departments or the customer feedback departments, or some organizations call it the complaints department, as to say. But I think it starts actually with the first point of contact that their door-to-door salesperson does with the customer. So the whole journey starts immediately as somebody from the company gets in touch with you as a customer. It depends on what they say, how they say it, how is the overall onboarding experience. And then once you're a customer, then how is the relationship managed after that?
Well, it's an interesting point, because technically the part of the experience that your company delivers starts there, but the customer's experience doesn't start there. We need to realize that there's a lot more going on than just the interactions with our company. There's things going on before and after, and that is the customer experience. We're just playing a small part in a bigger picture. And the thing is, if you ask a customer experience professional, what is a customer experience? Like you're saying to me, we want to improve the experiences that we deliver to our customers. What is a customer experience? The answer they will probably give you is the sum of the thoughts, feelings, and interactions a customer has with your company. And you're nodding your head because, that's like the traditional definition. We can all agree. But that is bang wrong. It is the least customer-centric way to look at a customer experience possible. And I'll explain why. A true customer experience is the sum of the thoughts, feelings, and interactions a customer has with and about different products and services on the journey towards achieving a particular goal or an outcome. That is the customer's experience. Right. Okay. And we're just part of that. And I think it really is a turning point for a lot of customer experience professionals when they realize that we are not the be all and end all. The only thing that, we are not the only thing that matters in the customer's lives. The interactions with us are just part of something. The only reason they are interacting with us is to achieve this bigger picture goal, this bigger picture outcome. We need to step back and we need to look at it. We need to say, what is that goal? What is that outcome? What role do we play in the achievement of that? But the great thing is you can then see which other companies are involved in that too. And it means you can collaborate with them. Sometimes collaboration is just as good as innovation. If you can work with those other companies within that journey to partner to deliver that successful outcome or goal in the best way possible, you are going to be so far ahead of 99% of every other company out there.
That is so true. That makes so much more sense, especially the way that you explained it now. If only the companies would think about the end goal of their customers, everything would be completely different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Tell me something, James. How was the experience of a tattooed rock star getting into a training session, picking up a guitar, having you have amazing musical keynotes that you do those, and then how was it perceived and accepted by organizations? Let's suppose you
Well,
walk into an organization and say, "Hey, I'm a customer experience trainer, and I've got a keynote that I can deliver to your organization. There's going to be a lot of music. I'm going to play guitar on the stage. That's how I'm going to begin." And what were some of the responses? And people were like, "Hey, are you crazy?" I mean, traditionally, conventionally, when you think about trainers, they're like, nice ties and suits and, walk in, hello, so and so. I think only the most other very well noted trainer, I wouldn't say trainer, I mean, the keynote speaker in this respect is Gary Vee. He doesn't give a damn about the attire as it is acceptable. How was your experience in that respect?
It was an interesting one because I'm in a fortunate position now where, of course, before all this pandemic stuff happened, my keynote talk was in big demand. Lots of people wanted me to travel around the world and deliver it, but it wasn't always that way. That isn't how I started. When I first because when I was doing the customer experience training, I didn't always have the rock star persona, the rock star gimmick. I used to wear a suit and tie. I used to carry a briefcase because I thought that is the way you had to act in the corporate world. It's the way I was for years. It made me miserable because I was having to pretend to be somebody that I wasn't, but that's what I did. And then when I a bit of a side story, I did a thing in Iceland a little while back, literally like 2 weeks before lockdown in the UK. Mm-hmm. And I did a training course. I did some keynotes. I went into some companies, did a whole tour. I say a whole tour of Iceland. It's a very small place. But anyway, and I got interviewed for a newspaper out there. They did this whole piece in the newspaper. And the guy that was helping arrange it sent me a photograph of the newspaper. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. I put it online. And I said, I don't really know what it says, but this is pretty cool. I'm in the newspaper. And somebody translated it for me, and it said, Rockstar comes out of the closet. And I was like, what? So obviously it had got translated as, revealing myself to the world. Rockstar, because I never told anybody before. It was my dirty little secret. I didn't want people to know that I had a music career because I thought it would discredit the work I was doing. Turns out it actually adds a hell of a lot of credibility to it. Didn't know that at the time. But so I was telling this guy about the story of that, and the headline was Rockstar comes out of the closet. So before I came out of the closet as a rock star, I used to do the suit and tie thing. Now, in a fortunate position now where the keynote is in high demand, was before the pandemic, but you know what I mean. That wasn't always the case. When I first started out, when I first conceived this idea of having an entertaining musical keynote that I could do that included me playing guitar, that included music, it was kind of a big dream, you know what I mean? I thought that would be so cool. It would get me back out on the stage again, which is something I miss terribly. It's I was traveling around the world anyway, but I get to travel around the world more. And what I had to do was essentially get talking to people and offer to do it for free. And I would say, right, picture this. It's a keynote talk about customer experience, but it's got a theme. It's a musical theme. There's musical examples. I play guitar in it. I come on stage playing guitar. Then I get the crowd involved. They become the rhythm section while I play guitar. I'm trying to explain it to people. And I know the first time, I didn't even explain it very well then, to be honest with you. I knew that when they were listening to me, they were going, what are they going? And all it took was one person to give me a shot to do it. Then I got video footage of the talk. Then I could use that video footage to persuade people, because it was rather than trying to explain it, it was a lot easier to go, look, just watch this video. You'll get it. You'll understand what I'm trying to do. They would watch that. And then it sort of snowballed from there. So, I mean, if there is anybody out there that's thinking about, writing a signature keynote and trying to get paid for it, trying to go around the world to do it, my advice is, for a good chunk of time, you're going to have to do it for free. In fact, it's probably going to cost you money to travel around and do it, and get everything videoed. Just get everything videoed, because then you've got that collateral, then you've got that proof, then you can show people that you're not crap at it. Because that is for me, like, the big worry for people that are booking speakers for conferences is that they're going to be crap. That's the big worry. They want them to be really good. Therefore, the worry of that is that they're not going to be really good. If you've got that video footage to show that you can do it, and you're really good at doing it, it just puts their mind at rest, and you're much more likely to. Would you ever hire a keynote speaker that you never saw any video footage for?
So if you're asking about me personally, I'm a little bit towards innovation and changes. So personally, yes, I would probably. But based on
you would pay somebody actual money to come and do a keynote on innovation that you had never seen perform or never.
No, I mean to say the innovation in the way that they're conducting the session. So somebody comes to me and says, I have a unique way of explaining something, anything, not related to customer experience or whatever, anything related to my business, to my people, and say, hey, this is the traditional way, but this is the way I do it. Yes, I would have concern about the execution, and that's where I think the video helps. But I would jump on the idea, actually. And that's just me individually.
Okay. Well, you missed the boat with me, because now I charge a load of money to come and do it. So there you go. But I think most people, maybe I'm wrong, maybe the people out there can let me know, I think most people that are booking speakers for events will want to know that they're good before they book them to do it.
Well, I do agree with you. That's why I said, execution is a question. But to relate a relevant example, and a very relevant example in terms of music, I'm a musician myself, did it as a hobby, but a very serious hobby for quite some time. But so there was something different about the kind of music that we used to play when I was an underground band. And wherever we used to go and talk about performing gigs, everybody was like, okay, so you're going to play that artist, so because we were essentially an underground kind of a cover band. We just had a couple of originals. So we were mostly known for covers. But then people will say, hey, you're going to play that artist, that song. And it was like, no, this is not the kind of music that we play. And being a metalhead yourself, you know that there's a very, very niche market, very small market for like metal music, rock music. And that's where we were slightly onto that side. Yeah. And we would say, no, we're going to play this. And then we say, no, nobody's going to buy tickets. Nobody's going to be interested. And that's where we used to say that we had a unique style of doing. For example, being in Pakistan, there was a lot of, the bigger market was for the desi kind of music, Eastern music, a lot of Indian influence and all of that. And we were there playing rock songs like Audio Slaves and Guns N' Roses and Metallica and stuff like that. So we would infuse them, sort of an Eastern touch into them. So we would play tabla with some of the rock songs or metal songs, for example. Yeah. So that was a challenge. I know exactly what you're talking about. But like I said, since I've been doing it myself, I would jump at anybody else who comes up with an innovative idea. I would think about the execution twice. But if there's even if there's a little bit of evidence to the kind of execution that they're doing, I would actually, the thinking out of the box idea is something that clicks me.
Well, you're the exception, but that is cool. Have you heard of the band Bloodywood? Bloodywood, like Bollywood, but Bloodywood.
Okay. No, I haven't.
They're a heavy metal band that play like traditional Indian percussion. They're from India, not Pakistan. They're pretty cool. I think they sing in Urdu as well, maybe, or
I'd check
Hindi.
them out.
It's either Urdu or Hindi. It's probably Hindi if they're...
Okay.
Yeah.
They're pretty close. I mean, the languages are pretty close.
Yeah. I say yeah, like a no. Weirdly, so a lot of people don't know this. The area that I grew up in was super multicultural, and all of my friends growing up were either Indian or Pakistani.
Oh, that's great. You would have heard of a lot of Pakistani music, probably. Growing up.
So I mean, the main one I know is Gurdas Man.
Okay,
but I think he's
that's an Indian music. I think so. I'm not that good in Indian music because again, my focus was always towards the heavier side of it.
Yeah,
and most of the Indian music that I came across was from movies.
Yeah,
so I didn't really connect well with them. But that's an interesting perspective, though. Getting into a new area, trying to build your mark in that. But let me segue into the part about where a lot of people say stick to one field, learn one skill, be the master of that skill, and that's how you become successful. Mm-hmm. And here you are, you were a musician, you were touring, you had released an album, and then you switched on to training, learned another skill, and you're doing really well in that as well. You're touring again, you're doing multiple sessions in that again. So I want to segue into the part about being my personal belief, which is being the jack of some of the trades, not, jack of all. I agree is not the most productive thing to do, but jack of some rather than a master of one.
Yeah.
What's your take on that? I
suppose it depends on who you are, really, because I'm not particularly like very, very, very good at any one thing. I'm just kind of good at a handful of things, but I think when it translates to if you are like a trainer or a consultant or whatever, it's very easy to want to offer everything to everyone, just to be like, okay, I do consultancy, I do coaching, I do training, I do workshops, I do speaking, I write books, I write articles, I do this. And you want to just say that you do everything. And I used to do, and seriously, I was like, yeah, I can do this, I can do that, I can do something else. But it really dilutes what you do. And so when I went into the whole speaking world, because I knew I wanted that to be a revenue earner for me, I wanted to get paid for the talk that I did, I had to stop doing consultancy. It is not something that I offer. I do not consult. Now, it's kind of good because I didn't really like it, and I'm not really the best in the world at it. I'm okay at it. I'm good. I'm good at inspiring people, good at ideas, but I don't like the internal politics that you've got to get involved in. So it was when I was doing the consulting, it just kind of felt like I was being employed again, and I felt like I had to do what I was told, and I didn't really like it. But so I had to scrap that, and that felt so weird to me. Like I'm turning down so much business by saying I don't do that anymore, and cutting up. So I essentially only do 3 things. Okay, so I do the keynote, I do training, and I make content. That's it. That's all I do. Now, of course, there's little different things within those 3 things, but that is it. They are the only 3 things that I do. I had to niche down and be like, okay, what am I best at? What am I, out of all the things that I can do, what am I best at, and what do I enjoy the most? So the keynote, absolutely love doing that. I think it's pretty good. Other people seem to think it's pretty good as well, and I absolutely love doing it. The training, think it's pretty good. Other people seem to think it's pretty good as well, and I enjoy doing it. And then creating content, that's like the other part. I mean, a lot of times creating content is my full-time job, because the way I think about it is I want to put as much information out into the world as possible about customer experience, about how to improve it, about how to do better, how to make your company more customer-centric. Put as much out in the world as possible, just to get as known as possible, so the most people know of me as possible. And the thing is, I never asked for a penny for that. Right, literally, you could search all my videos and get a full education in customer experience. Well, at least my view of customer experience, anyway, for free. You can have it. I am fully aware that 99.999% of the people that ever watch my content or absorb it, they're never going to financially benefit me. But that's okay, because all it really takes is that one person to watch it and go, you know what? I want this guy to come in. I like how he talks about stuff. I like his ideas. I want him to come and talk to my team. Or, oh, I've got this event. I think he would be great to do that, keynote that event. Or, wow, if this is the information he's giving away for free, I imagine the information that's going to be in his training that I actually pay for. So the content side of the thing, it's the content that actually sells that other stuff. I don't say, you asked earlier, like going into a company saying, hey, I've got this keynote to do. I don't do that anymore. I don't reach out to companies and say, hey, can I do a keynote? They reach out to me. The reason they reach out to me is because of the amount of content I put out into the world. So that's why the content is my sales and marketing department, basically. That's the content does the selling for me. I don't have to.
Yeah, that does make sense. And everybody says that that's what a lot of people have trouble, understanding that first you have to push out content after content after content, not worry about charging people. Push out content for free as much as you can. Once somebody picks it up and gets back to you and says, hey, I love this content. This is what this content with this guy is putting out for free. Imagine what he can do to me for my company. You know, when I pay him and I have him dedicated to my company, imagine what is the value I'm going to get out of it. I think that's when you click, and that's when it starts rolling, rather than when people say, okay, I hate the concept where people say they'll make a small YouTube video. Hey, it could be something basic tutorial. Hey, here's a way to record your first podcast. You got to have this, give a little bit of value and say, hey, if you want more of this, here's a sign up form, pay me X amount of dollars, and I'll teach you everything, right from the start, right up to publishing your first podcast. I'm not going to give any value to that guy, because then you're not true to your content. You're not true to the people that you're addressing.
Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with understanding the value in the information that you want to provide to people. It's not a very smart business strategy to just be like, okay, I'm going to give you one sentence. If you want the rest of the chapter, you got to pay for it. It's just, it's not to say it's not valid. It's not to say it's not worth it. It's just to say the person out there that gives the most value for free in the end is going to win.
Yeah, of course. Because again, everything is going to tie back to you, the kind of person you are, and that shows that you were true to your...
The person that says, here's a little bit of information. Now pay me a load of money for the rest. Or the guy that just gives you all the information, or girl, the guy or girl that gives you all that information, you're going to like the person that gives you all the information for free better. Yeah. And then if you ever do have an opportunity that you need to pay for something that they provide, you're going to go for that person that you like better, not the person that you don't like because they tried to. So I do believe that when it comes to information products, whether it be training, whether it be tutorials, whatever, the person that gives away the most value for free is going to win.
Right. Let me ask you, what do you think of the changing scenario around the world because of the pandemic? And where do you think the training industry in particular is going because of this?
It's hard, man, because up until this point, I didn't want to put my training online. I wanted it to be like a premium thing. You get in the room with me, we do the training, but I got forced to put it online. I'm actually really glad that happened because I was wrong. My thinking was really wrong about it. Now it's cheaper because it's online. It's all there. It's done. I don't have to travel and go and do it, which means more people get to experience it, which means I'm helping more people in the world. And although at some point in the future, I knew I was going to have to put it online because the demand was going to get so much that I just couldn't be everywhere. I didn't plan to do it so soon, but I'm so glad that I did because it's been proving like people are loving it. And I wasn't really sure how people were going to take it because one of the things, especially when you're putting out a lot of content, a lot of video content. I've got a show on Amazon Prime as well. You know that. I've got a show on Amazon Prime. When people look at that stuff and see you on massive stages, they almost see you as almost like a celebrity in your little world, like some sort of customer experience celebrity. And the value of paying to go to a training course is that you get to go in the room with the person that you follow. You get to actually be there and talk to them face to face. And I was worried that, putting it online kind of defeats the object of all this work I've been doing to build so much of a following. I was wrong. People love it. They're really enjoying it, going through the videos, doing the challenges that get set for them. And I've sold more online training than I ever have in-person training, just in this, not ever have, but like in the same time frame, I've sold more online training than I would have done in-person training. So I think the whole training world is probably going to have to go online. And it's got to the point now that like people have been talking to me like, oh, when this is over, are you going to do any in-person training again? Yeah, I probably will. But I'm kind of like, can you not just do the online one? It's already there. People like it. So we'll see.
It's more focused. People are actually, shutting out everything, focusing on the screen, looking at you. Especially, I mean, if it's let's say a live session and they're actually interacting with you, you think it's more focused than being in the room? I somehow tend to get more energy when you're physically in the same room.
Yeah,
you're physically looking at the reactions and feedback.
Yeah.
That gives you as somebody, as a public speaker, as somebody who's on the stage, that's what gives you that energy.
Yeah.
But do you think the online sessions are now more focused compared to being in the room?
I don't really know. Like, for me, there is no doubt that receiving the training in person in the room is better.
Agreed.
It just is. Because if there's anything you don't quite understand, you can clarify it. Right. The trainer can read the room. They can see how people are reacting.
You see body language, you see expressions and everything, yes.
The online training will arguably never be a substitution for that. Unless you're doing live online training where you're doing it through Zoom or something else and you can see them. But that's still not as good. So you're not going to get that. But the benefits of online training is because of the scale of things, you can keep prices down so more people can do it. It makes it more accessible. And they can do it in their own time. They can go through it, when and where they want and how they want, for the amount of time. There's some people that have done my training that literally have just dedicated 2 days to sit down and go through every little bit. There's other people that have done it over a period of months. They've done 20 minutes a day. That's nice for people because it means you can do it in the way that suits your life better. Ultimately, though, I still think getting in a room with someone, having an intensive period of time that you spend together, get to know each other and learn that way is better. Of course it's better. Of course it is. But the online training is a fairly good substitute, and there are some benefits to the online training that you don't get in real life.
Mm-hmm. Do you think we're going to go back to the physical training bit soon enough?
I don't know, man. In all honesty, I don't know. I'd like to think at some point we will, but I don't really have an answer because I don't know. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
I think there's going to be an element of both of them. So we had a separate discussion with a friend, and he raised a very important point, and he was saying that this is going to be the new normal. Does not mean that we're always going to be working from home or mostly going to be working from home. The new normal would mean we will have elements of working from home as well as being cautious, protective, having the protective gear on while we are outside. And there's always going to be stuff like organizations are now implementing less than 30% of workforce in the office at any particular time. So it's going to be a mix of both of the elements.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to impact training as well. But at some point in time, I would also like to think that we go back in a room, be able to interact physically, even if it's lesser amount of people that we have. You instead of having 100, 200, maybe 300 people in the keynote in front of you, have a smaller batch, smaller session with people seated a little further apart, wearing masks, whatever. It's the next best thing to being, being able to interact.
I mean, that does kind of suck though, because like for example, maybe right now, no, maybe a couple of around now, I should have been in Las Vegas doing what would have been the biggest talk of my life to a maximum of 4,000 people. Probably less than that, but if everybody filled the room, it would have been about 4,000 people. And the thing is, I designed my talk for that kind of crowd, for that kind of environment, for that kind of energy. So to do it in front of like 20 people, I might have to change things a little bit. So I do hope things return to normal, because otherwise I've got to write a new keynote. But we'll see how it goes. The thing is, I think a lot more people are going to be working from home, because the companies have sent people to work from home. They've realised the world hasn't set on fire. Everything's okay. Then they look at their bill for their offices and go, forget that. You can all just work at home still. So I think a lot more people are going to be working from home. And my theory is that will give a bigger demand to get out, to go to conferences. And here's the reason why. If you're stuck in your home all the time, you're going to want to get out. You're going to want to go and actually interact with people. You're going to want to, travel to places and do things. I think then when you get given the opportunity to go to a conference, you're going to jump at it. You're going to be like, yeah, I want to do that. A day out of the house will be great. I can go to there, do the thing, meet some people. That'll be great. I think more people will jump at it. So my prediction is that conference organizers are actually going to have a really good bounce back from this. Probably wrong, but that's what I think is going to happen, and that's my reason why.
Right. Okay, James, I want to discuss particularly about the key difference between training and mentoring. Right. So I want to start off by asking you, did you have a mentor while growing up or while in your career that helped you in sort of discovering what your real calling is? And my second question related to this would be, what do you think about mentoring and transferring your skills, or are you mentoring somebody right now into then, paying it forward kind of thing?
Well, I mean, I'd like to think that I'm mentoring the entire customer experience community at large, but there are some people that I mentor a little bit more personally, one-to-one with. It's not something I charge for. It's something that I do because if I see potential in somebody and they want to learn. Basically, if somebody comes to me and says, hey, will you talk me through this? I'm going to do it. I don't know why. I've got two superpowers. Do you want to know what they are?
Of course.
Right. Number one, I'm incredibly lazy. Right.
Okay.
So what that means is any task that I have to do, I will find the quickest and easiest way to do it. Right.
That's an interesting way to look at it.
Yeah. So I will find the quickest and easiest way to do anything. Number two, whereas I'm good at keeping other people's secrets, I'm not very good at keeping my own secrets. So as soon as I find out a quick and easy way to do something, I want to tell people about it. I want to be like, hey, look at this cool thing you can do. Wow, you were doing it that way. So was I. Now I'm doing it this way. This is better. I just want to tell people about it. I don't know why. Maybe there's a psychologist out there that can let me know it's maybe an inbuilt need for acceptance and love. I don't know. But I just want to tell people about stuff. If I find out something that's interesting or an easy way to do something or a little hack, I just want to tell people about it. So they're my two superpowers: lazy and can't keep my own secrets.
Right. What about your somebody mentoring you as you were growing in your career?
Yeah. So the thing is, the difference between training and mentoring for me is training, you're telling somebody what to do. Mentoring, you're helping somebody figure out what to do for themselves. And I've had mentors going through. One guy, Steve Towers, absolute legend in the process world. He's helped me out so much with sort of helping take ideas and turning them into models and methods that people can use, understanding not just what companies are doing, but why they're doing it, understanding the mindset and philosophies behind what they're doing. When it comes to the speaking thing, a guy called Shep Hyken. Have you heard of Shep Hyken?
No.
He's mentored me a lot with the speaking thing. Again, absolute legend in the speaking world. And so that's been invaluable as well. So I think having a mentor or mentors is so important. I suppose it's just finding the right one. It's finding the person that can do it. But the problem is, I think a lot of people out there that are offering mentorship who probably shouldn't be. I try and stick to like the rule that I should never take advice about success from somebody that's never had any.
Of course.
So I think you need to be really careful about who you're taking advice from.
I think that's a great lesson to end on. People should actually know where to go and who to turn to for inspiration as well.
Yeah.
There's so many people who are really, really good in public speaking or in presenting an idea that people tend to get drawn towards them without even figuring out what this person really is. Is he just a good speaker, or has he really been there, what he's talking about? And what really matters is the kind of, as they say, I mean, if you're the smartest person in the room, then you're in the wrong room.
Yeah.
So you should always surround yourself with people.
Luckily, I'm not very smart either, so I'm always in the right room.
You should always surround yourself with people, I always say, we have the same mission of success like you.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, James, thank you very much for today's episode and being here with us, sharing your valuable insights. Before we end, would you like to share your public profile so that our listeners can go and follow you? We're going to have all of the links available in the show notes as well. But here's James Dodkins and how you can find him online.
Cool. So if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, search for James Dodkins. I'm like the only one. You'll find me. If you want to find me on Twitter, it's the letter J, Dodkins, at J Dodkins. If you want to connect with me on Instagram, it's at the CX Rockstar. If you want to connect with me on TikTok, yes, I got a TikTok. It's again at the CX Rockstar. YouTube, just search my name. Or, now this is one that your listeners might appreciate. I actually have got a group on Facebook called the One Man Brand Club. And it's where I'm sharing my experience from turning myself from a one-man band into a one-man brand, how my personal branding has completely changed the way that I do business. And there's lots, I know you're in there, there's lots of other people in there too, sharing their experiences too. And it's not all just about me saying everybody's sharing their experiences. So if you actually go to www.onemanbrandclub.com, it'll take you straight to the Facebook page, and you can join up there and just start sharing, start learning.
Great. And with that, guys, thank you very much for listening. We'll see you in the next episode. If you like what you heard today, please share it across in your network. Please help us by rating us on iTunes or on any other platform that you're actually listening. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe and press the notification bell so that you get to know when the new episodes are published. See you on the other side.